So I'm Morse and I'm back with another video. So basically, this video, पे I'm going to solve and another problem which is related to array, and the problem was available in LeetCode number 238, which is product and product of something, product of product of an array, I think, it's something like that. Okay, so I'm going to solve that problem, and I'm going to solve that in three ways. The first one is brute force, and second one is like optimal, but that not properly optimal because that's like some bigger space complexity, I think. So without wasting any time, let's go. Okay, so this is the problem, and how our Batty G is going to solve this problem. So to find the product, I mean, what is this and question saying in truth, I mean. So we have to answer our to the time complexity should be n, I mean, big of n. So this is basically giving us an array, and we have to find what is the product of an array. So what is the product? So how to find this product is basically what are we going to do is basically this is the first array. Okay. So if we are to run our loop, so look, like here we go. Okay. If we cut this our first number index, the zeroth number index, what are the multiplication of this, the rest of the values? So this will be 24. If we cut 2, then this will be 12, and if the 3, and this. So we have to find this. But there is a catch. If you are thinking we're going to multiply by that and we're going to divide each number with that, we can easily do this in a single for loop. But this is not this much easier because so in this question there is a single catch that you can't use a divide operator. I mean, if like if we have the total value is 24, then we can literally divide by 2. If we want to remove this 2, then we can get 12, and if we want to divide by 3, it's going to be 8. So it's just going to work like this, but in here we can't use a divide operator. So how are Betty is going to solve this problem? Okay, Betty is going to think we can run our a loop, and we're going to run two loops. It's going to be a nested loop, and the time complexity should be the n square. I mean, big of n square. So how we can solve this problem? So he's going to loop. He's going to run two loops. The first loop is going to count this one value. It's going to 1, 2, 3, and the second loop is going to multiply it by those three things. Okay, did you get it? We're going to, I need a pen and paper, yeah, solve this problem. Let's solve this problem according to Betty, the brute force. So to store R, we want a vector, okay. First of all, we want to, okay, in here it is showing that the following you can it is a big one for the output array doesn't, okay. So we have to create another vector which is going to store our value, because where we are going to store this value, we want another vector for that reason. So what are we going to do is create another vector, but in here it just mentioned whatever you are going to return is not going to count as a time complexity analysis sign. So we're going to create a vector, vector in name should be ns ans, and another thing is like size. So I'm just already giving this the array limit, and how much big should this array should be. This root for int n. Okay, this for loop is going to, first of all, this for loop is going to this run. I mean, this for loop is going to run 1, 2, 3, one by one percentages. Okay, so what are we going to do is create another for loop for to count the multiplication of the rest of the three numbers, and we want a variable to store this number. Otherwise, like how we are going to store these numbers? So let's create a int. Yeah, I mean, product. What I'm going to select product or PROD. Okay, PROD is equal to, let's say 0. Product should be 0 or 1. Let's say 1 because everything is multiplied by 0 is 0. So that's the reason we're going to say 1. And we're going to loop another loop, which is int j and okay. There we go. So now this loop, the second loop is going to multiply by the each of the three things, the three numbers, I mean, inside this array. If this, so we have to add a condition because we are not going to multiply the i's value, I mean. So in here we're going to check like if I is not equal to z, then we have to perform how we're going to multiply by all those things. So it will be like product multiplied by and equal to nums of I, and in here where we can get hence I is equal to product. I think mm, I'm just smelling a mistake. I don't know. Let's just think of it. We're running a for loop. It's going to run the 1, 2, 3 by 3. And the second loop is multiplying everything. So if I is not equal to z, okay, here we go. In here, this should be z. Okay. And all right, we'll just like return ans. Okay, let's go. This loop is should going to run, but it's not going to like properly upload because it has more time complexity. It's like big of n square, I mean, task, yeah, but if we submit this, it's not going to because we want log n, I mean, because we want the big o n, I mean. Here we go. Time limit exceeds in the big data sets, I mean. -1, -1. So this is the brute force approach. We can solve this thing, but now we have to optimize this problem. So how we're going to optimize this problem? Think of it. So now the optimal approach, the optimized approach. So this is basically so basically divided this optimal like optimized approach in two forms. So let's think we have a array of six in, I mean, five index, like starting with 1 and ending with 0, like this is sorted array. So in this, how we have to find this numbers of product. So how we are going to do? It's basically in here, what we're going to do is basically we're going to divide this problem in three parts. Okay, this is the right part. I mean, if we want to find this product, what we going to do is basically multiplied by these numbers. So हमें सबसे पहले क्या करना है कि राइट वाले नंबर्स को मल्टीप्लाइड कर देना है जितना में उसका प्रोडक्ट आएगा, एंड लेफ्ट वाले नंबर में जो भी उसका प्रोडक्ट आएगा दोनों को एंड पे हमें मल्टीप्लाई करना है, समझ गए? So first of all, what we have to do is basically find the product and we have to find the left numbers products, and at the end we have to multiply by those right and left to get the answer, the product of that numbers. So in here, what we can do is, okay, so basically what I'm going to say is basically the right, what I'm going to call is basically prefix. This right value is going to call prefix, and the left value is going to call the prefix, and the right value is going to call the suffix. What is prefix? तो prefix is basically जब हमारा कोई value से पहले का जो values हैं, the before coming this value, I mean, the before values are called prefix and after values are called suffix. What it prefix matlab, prefix sounds like the pre-values that going to come. Okay, just like prefix values, and those are suffix values. So what I'm going to do is basically first of all find the prefix value. So it took me something around 1 hour to understand how this prefix and suffix actually going to work. Here you can see like there are some opposites one, but yeah, this is the prefix one. Look at, this is a prefix thing. So how I actually solve this thing? Okay, so to solve this thing, what I actually did is basically this is our array. Okay, this is our array and this is our answer. Okay, this is our answer and this is our actual prefix values. So what are we going to do is basically how we can calculate a prefix value. To calculate a prefix value is nothing else than ये basically लेफ्ट हैंड साइड से काउंट 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 करते करते जाएगा, ठीक है। सबसे पहले ये वाला वैल्यू स्टार्ट होगा इन दिस थिंग, ये फर्स्ट लूप हम लोग रन करेंगे, जो कि है फर्स्ट। अगर हम लोगों का लूप यहाँ से स्टार्ट हो रहा है तो ये काउंट करेगा फर्स्ट को, सो इसके लेफ्ट वाले वैल्यू को मल्टीप्लाई करते करते जाएगा। तो जो इंडेक्स नंबर 0 है उसका वैल्यू कुछ नहीं होगा, उसका इंडेक्स नंबर वैल्यू का 0 1 ही होगा, क्योंकि अगर फर्स्ट इंडेक्स से उसके लेफ्ट हैंड साइड में तो कुछ नंबर ही नहीं है ना। सो व्हाट आर वी गोइंग टू डू, से 1 दैट वैल्यू वी आर गोइंग टू ऑलरेडी सेट दिस वैल्यू इन 1। सो हम लोग का लूप स्टार्ट होगा 1 से, जो इंडेक्स नंबर 1 है, इंडेक्स नंबर 1 का वैल्यू है 2 एंड यहाँ पे लेफ्ट हैंड साइड में है 2, सो हम लोग इसको कर देंगे 1। ये देखो ऐसा हम ये वहां पे आ गया 1 है, यहाँ पे आ गया इंडेक्स नंबर 1 है, इंडेक्स नंबर 0, इंडेक्स नंबर 0 1 2 3। ओके, एज सिंपल एज दैट। मैंने इसका वैल्यू नहीं लिखा, 6 होगा इसका वैल्यू। ये थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट हो सकता है क्योंकि मुझे भी बहुत ज्यादा टाइम लगा टू अंडरस्टैंड दिस सॉल्यूशन, ठीक है। तो यहाँ पे आएगा 6 पे हम लोग का वैल्यू आ जाएगा। सो अभी हम लोग जाएंगे सेकंड नंबर लूप पे। मैं कंप्यूटर पे बेटर या सजा, ओके ठीक है। यहाँ पे आ जाएंगे हम लोग सेकंड नंबर वैल्यू पे, जो कि यहाँ पे लूप आ जाएगा हमारा थर्ड नंबर पे अभी। तो अभी हम लोग थर्ड नंबर वाला जो अभी हम लोग थर्ड नंबर वाला लूप रन करेगा, जो कि इंडेक्स नंबर 2, 2 को वैल्यू को हम लोग कैसे मिले, हम लोग 2 का वैल्यू को लाने के लिए हम लोग जो पहले वाले मल्टीप्लिकेशन हैं एंड रिसेंट वाला जो वैल्यू है उसको हम लोग मल्टीप्लाई कर सकते हैं। मैं तुम लोग को इस ये वाला पेजेस का ट्राई करूंगा कि मैं तुम लोग को इसको लाइक ये दे सकूं, गूगल ड्राइव पर लिंक दे सकूं, और तुम लोग को देखना है तो इसका ये सॉल्यूशन देख सकते हो गूगल ड्राइव पे। सो आई कैंट एक्सप्लेन दैट स्टफ बिकॉज क्योंकि मेरे पास कुछ है नहीं यार एक्सप्लेन करने के लिए, मैं कर देता, ठीक है। तो हम लोग ये, तो हम लोग लेफ्ट हैंड साइड को बोलेंगे प्रीफिक्स एंड राइट हैंड साइड को बोलेंगे सफिक्स। तो प्रीफिक्स एंड सफिक्स को निकालने के लिए हम लोग सबसे बेस्ट ऑप्टिमल यूज क्या कर सकते हैं कि हम लोग तीन दो वेक्टर और क्रिएट कर सकते हैं, ठीक है। हम लोग यहाँ पे और दो वेक्टर्स क्रिएट करेंगे, प्रीफिक्स जो कि होगा n, 1 एंड होगा यहाँ पे वेक्टर इंच सफिक्स suffix सफिक्स जो कि होगा ये भी सेम n, 1, ठीक है। तो अभी हम लोग तीन चीजें लिख दिया, तो अभी हम लोग ये ना बहुत ज्यादा स्पेस कॉम्प्लेक्सिबिलिटी ले रहा है, क्योंकि अभी हम लोग यहाँ पे दो एक्स्ट्रा वेक्टर्स क्रिएट कर रहे हैं जो कि क्रिएट होगा हमारे डेटाबेस पे, क्योंकि बहुत ज्यादा स्पेस ले रहा है। तो डोंट वरी, हम लोग इसको भी ऑप्टिमाइज कर देंगे एट द एंड। सो लेट्स रन, ठीक है। तो अभी हम लोग सबसे पहले ढूंढेंगे कि हम लोग प्रीफिक्स को कैसे ला सकते हैं। prefix, so first of all you have to find a prefix. So how we can do is basically run a loop. Going to start with the int I, it's a normal loop here, for int I is equal to, we're going to start this value with 1 because the first thing is I mean I explained you, and now what are we going to do is basically how we can find our prefix. So there will be a prefix I is equal to, now the main thing, how we can find the prefix. So to find our prefix, what are we going to say is basically prefix I minus 1 multiplied by nums I minus 1. This is it. To find prefix, you guys just have to do this. I mean, this is the whole code of prefix, to finding a prefix. Okay. So in here you can see the prefix values are, first of all, we're going to store the prefix value, then suffix value, and we're going to multiply this, as I said. So let's do it. We find our prefix, then we have to. Okay, so how this code is usually working? So we are going to create another vector the same size as the answer, the same size as answer. Okay, we're going to create another vector which is same size as answer. The answer is like 4 index and the prefix is also 4 index, for example. So what are we going to do is basically we're going to multiply our past prefix number multiplied by the recent, the value of this. I mean, you have to literally do is this thing. I'm going to like literally send this paper and you can understand with your own. I mean, I can't explain you without pen and paper. Suffix is also same. I mean, no difference. We're going to for int, but in here we're going to do -2 and -2. Same, man. I want a paper to explain and I can't do. So I'm just going to say this. Spoil the beast. Okay. This loop is a backward loop, so it's not going to be like this. It should be like uh I should be greater than and equal to 0, I mean, because we want a backward loop. In here, we want to run a backward loop. So this is a backward loop. If you don't know about backward loop, go and learn first about backward loop. So in here, what we can do is basically suffix I is equal to suffix I plus 1 multiplied by now I plus 1. Now the ANS, now the answer should be for in each this will be N, and in here we just counted. I mean, ANS I is equal to prefix I mm, multiplied by suffix I. This is it. ANS and D not ANS. Okay, here we go. This is the optimized approach of this problem. I can't explain you. I'm so sorry for that. If anyone is watching, but I can understand this program. Here we go. This running two cases, and but I can't submit because this is taking like too much space complexity. Yeah, it's going to print it, but here you can see. I mean, I'm using too much. I can get this point also, like the 0. You can literally get this point. We want to optimize this problem. So how we can optimize this problem? To optimize this problem, what are we going to do is think. So actually, we don't need these two vectors. I mean, like literally, we don't need these two vectors. We can remove these two vectors, and instead of this vector, I can literally store this value in n. I mean, answer. Answer is equal to answer I minus 1 multiplied by nums I minus 1. So why I cut those two vectors and why I'm directly evaluate this into my answers, like directly I'm just directly storing my answers into my answers vector. Why? Because our first of all, if we created a vector, this is a empty vector and the prefix also was a empty vector. So what I did is basically rather than storing another vector, I directly store that into my original answer. So this answer is right now my prefix values. So this answer is stored my actual prefix value. So This is prefix is equal to answer, ans. Okay, just two things in a single array. And what are we going to do in here? So the suffix is equal to ans. Right here also, we don't need actual suffix. What are we going to create? It's a int suf f my x suffix is equal to what 1. I mean, we can start with 1. So right here, what are we going to do? Is basically to find our suffix. What things we need? Think of it. How we can store our suffix? Suffix multiplied and equal to the nums nums I plus 1. We don't need this also. And okay. Okay, so we literally get our suffix right here away. Starting with 1, whatever are the suffix multiplied by value is going to store at this suffix value, the suffix integer. And what are we going to do is basically say our ans1 is equal to, we already get our values now, so in here like nothing. I mean, the suffix, we don't need this thing also. I think it's going to work, and we don't need this answer loop also. We're running these two loops, and we're going to already like prefix and suffix and return answer. Okay, so the suffix values are storing in this variable named suffix, and we're just, and inside this answer we have our prefix. So what did I said? I mean, we want to multiply by our prefix multiplied by suffix is our product of array. It's that simple as that. So we are multiplied by our prefix. This is our prefix answer, and this is our suffix value. Every time this is multiplied by the suffix value, and we are getting a number. Okay, this is the like most optimized version of this problem. And let's run. Okay. What is the problem? Oh, 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 chi, bhai, chi. Look at those small mistake. Multiply. I forgot the multiplication. So right here it should be multiply and run. Here we go. Yeah. Last thing, hope for the best. Let's solve 0. Okay, here we go. Most optimized with the space and the time complexity. There we go. I mean, there's the whole answer. 36 minutes. Damn. It takes like it took much more time. So, but yeah, I mean, our Betty is able to understand the problem and he able to solve also. So, do we like and share, comment, solve, subscribe, everything. Like, why I'm making this video? Because of me. So, yeah. Bye bye. Peace out. Just for the video. Hope you guys like this. Like all. Bye bye. Peace out.